All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Valsa Williams and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines: Counting of votes begins for assembly elections in Bihar. Counting also underway for by-polls to 58 assembly seats in 11 states. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address virtual SCO summit chaired by Russian President today. NGT bans sale and use of firecrackers in National Capital Region till 30th of this month. US President Donald Trump sacks Defense Secretary Mark Esper. And in cricket, Delhi Capitals to take on Mumbai Indians in IPL Summit clash in Dubai this evening. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Counting of votes has begun for assembly elections in Bihar and by-polls to 58 assembly seats in 11 states. Counting for Valmiki Nagar Lok Sabha seat in Bihar is also underway. It began at 8 this morning with postal ballots being counted first. The EVMs were opened after half an hour. Bihar Chief Electoral Officer H.R. Srinivas said the results will take a little more time because more EVMs have been used this time.
All in all, there is a foolproof security arrangement for counting. The districts have imposed orders under Section 144 of CRPC. So victory rallies, processions are all prohibited. There is a 24/7 vigilance by the Central Paramilitary Force of all the strong rooms. There is a CCTV coverage and the feed is given to the candidates or their representatives who are sitting just outside the counting center so that they can watch for themselves the security arrangements that have been made for the counting center along with the strong rooms.
55 counting centers have been set up in 38 districts of Bihar. In all, 414 counting halls have been prepared. Not more than 7 counting tables are allowed in one counting hall to maintain social distancing. Victory procession has been banned. A prohibitory order has been issued in and around counting centers. The Election Commission has instructed to follow COVID protocol during the counting. Every counting personnel has to wear face masks. All counting centers have been sanitized. Social distancing will be maintained during counting of votes. Voting for the 243-member Bihar Assembly was held in 3 phases on October the 28th and the 3rd and 7th of November. We now go over live to our correspondent KK Lal in Patna. Lal, what is the latest update you have for our listeners?
Valsa, this time I am standing at counting center of Patna, which is at AN College. Counting of 14 assembly constituencies is being held here. Counting of postal ballots started first. After counting of postal ballots, EVMs will be opened. Results will be announced a little bit late in view of increasing number of EVMs. In this election, 45% more EVMs have been used in comparison to the last assembly elections. 55 counting centers and 414 counting halls have been prepared across the state. 3 counting centers are in districts of East Champaran, Begusarai and Siwan, while 2 centers are in 8 districts including Madhubani, Purnia and Darbhanga. In remaining districts, there is 1 counting center. Valsa?
Right, also tell us what special arrangements have been made for the counting amid the corona pandemic.
Valsa, not more than 7 counting tables have been allowed in a counting hall to maintain social distancing. Every counting personnel has to wear face mask. All counting centers have been sanitized. Social distancing is also being maintained during counting of votes. Thermal screening of all polling officials was undertaken before entering counting centers. There are 3-tier security system in and around the counting centers across the state. Jawans of Central Paramilitary Forces have been deployed at each center to ensure trouble-free counting. Additional security forces have been deployed in sensitive areas. Valsa, victory procession has been banned. A prohibitory order has been issued in and around counting centers. An alert has been issued to avert untoward incidents. Security has been tightened near offices of political parties. Valsa.
Thank you, KK Lal, for the update.
In Madhya Pradesh, counting of votes for by-polls to 28 assembly seats began amid tight security and corona protocol. The results are expected by this evening. More details from our correspondent.
The counting of votes began with the postal ballots. A total of 46,619 postal ballots have been received in these 28 seats in Madhya Pradesh. Maximum 32 rounds of counting will be performed in Gwalior East Assembly constituency and minimum 18 rounds of counting will be in Anuppur Assembly seat. After counting up all votes, the voting slips of randomly selected 5 VVPAT machines will also be calculated and verified in every assembly seat. There are currently 201 MLAs and 230 member Madhya Pradesh Assembly. Of these, 107 are from BJP, 87 from Congress, 2 from BSP, 1 from SP and 4 independent MLAs. A total of 29 seats are vacant, out of which by-elections on 28 seats have been held. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Gujarat, the counting of votes for by-elections to 8 assembly seats began a short while ago. The Election Commission has made special arrangements in view of the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic. More from our correspondent.
Counting of votes has begun at 8 a.m. and results are expected by noon. The fate of 81 candidates, including former minister and BJP candidate Kirit Sirana, will be clear in today's counting. Counting of votes for Abdasa, Limri, Morbi, Karjan and Dang Assembly constituency are being held at the respective district headquarters, while the counting of votes for Dhari, Kadada and Kaprara seats are being held in the same constituency. 25 counting halls and 97 counting tables at 8 different places are being used after complete sanitization, while the arrangements for the mask, face shields and hand sanitizers have been made for the counting staff. Ruling BJP has nothing to lose in these by-elections as all 8 seats were held by Congress earlier. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Uttar Pradesh, the counting of votes for 7 assembly seats where by-elections were held last week started at 8 this morning amid tight security. An average of over 53% voters exercised their franchise on November the 3rd to decide the electoral fortune of 88 candidates in Naugama Sadat, Tundla, Bangarmau, Bulandshahr, Devariya, Ghatampur and Malhani assembly seats. Barring Malhani, which was with the Samajwadi Party, the other seats were held by the Bharatiya Janata Party. More from our correspondent.
Due to COVID protocol, only 7 tables are allowed in one counting hall. In Bulandshahr and Malhani, counting is taking place in 3 halls, while at rest of the 5 seats, it is going on in 2 halls. The 7 by-poll seats include Naugama Sadat of Amroha district, which fell vacant after the death of State Cabinet Minister and former cricketer Chetan Chauhan. From here, the fate of her wife and BJP candidate Sangeeta Chauhan will be decided today. The Ghatampur by-poll in Kanpur Nagar district was necessitated due to the death of State Minister Kamla Rani Varun. Both the ministers died of COVID-19. The Tundla seat fell vacant after its MLA SP Singh Baghel was elected to the Lok Sabha, while the Bangarmau seat in Unnao fell vacant after the conviction of former BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar in a rape case. The by-polls to the Bulandshahr, Devariya and Malhani seats were necessitated due to the deaths of the sitting MLAs Viren Singh Sirohi and Janmeja Singh from BJP and Parasnath Yadav from Samajwadi Party. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Jammu and Kashmir, BJP has released the first list of 72 candidates for the first phase of District Development Council or DDC elections. J&K BJP President Ravinder Raina announced the list at party headquarters in Jammu yesterday evening. The list includes 35 names for Jammu region and 37 candidates for Kashmir Valley.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lead the Indian delegation to the 20th summit of the SCO Council of Heads of States, which is being held virtually today. The meeting will be chaired by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Heads of states of all 8 member states, Russia, China, India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan will be present at the meeting. Heads of state of 4 observer states of SCO, Iran, Afghanistan, Belarus and Mongolia will also participate. Our correspondent reports that leaders of the member states will address the summit.
This is the first SCO summit to be held in virtual format, and this is the third meeting that India is participating as full member. India was granted observer status of SCO in 2005 and it became full member in 2017. In the last 3 years, India has maintained extensive engagement in all fields under the SCO framework. The SCO summit of heads of state is the main body of the organization that sets forth the agenda and the main directions for the organization for the next year. It deals with all the main areas of activity of the organization, including political, security, trade, economic and cultural. During the meeting, the Executive Director of the SCO Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, SCO-RAT, will make his interventions. The summit will end with the adoption of the Moscow Declaration. There will also be SCO statements on issues like the commemoration of 75th anniversary of World War II, digital economy, COVID-19, countering the spread of terrorism, including on the internet, and countering the drug threat. With Anand Kumar, Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the state-of-the-art office-cum-residential complex of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal ITAT at Cuttack tomorrow via video conferencing. The Cuttack bench of the ITAT was created and started functioning from the 23rd of May 1970. The jurisdiction of Cuttack bench extends to the whole of Odisha. It was functioning in a rented property for more than 50 years. Union Law Minister, Petroleum Minister, Chief Minister of Odisha, Chief Justice and judges of Odisha High Court, along with other dignitaries, would also be present during the event. On the occasion, an e-coffee table book on ITAT will also be released.
A model of anti-satellite missile installed inside the DRDO Bhavan premises was unveiled by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh yesterday. Mission Shakti was the country's first ever anti-satellite ASAT missile test, successfully conducted on the 27th of March 2019 from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island in Odisha, where a fast-moving Indian orbiting target satellite in low Earth orbit was neutralized with pinpoint accuracy. This was a highly complex mission conducted at an extremely high speed with remarkable precision. The successful conduct of Mission Shakti made India the 4th nation in the world with the capability to defend its assets in outer space. Mr. Singh appreciated the accomplishment of the team of scientists. DRDO Chairman Dr. G. Satish Reddy said, the installation of the ASAT model will inspire the DRDO fraternity to take up many more such challenging missions in the future. On the occasion, Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, was also present. The government has approved 21 projects leveraging investment worth 443 crore rupees, supported with a grant of 189 crore rupees under the scheme for integrated cold chain and value addition. The approval in this regard was given during the Inter-Ministerial Approval Committee meeting chaired by Minister for Food Processing Industries Narendra Singh Tomar yesterday. Mr. Tomar said that these projects will benefit farmers and consumers and urged the officers to expedite the implementation of approved projects. He said 21 projects are likely to generate employment for nearly 12,600 people and benefit over 2 lakh farmers. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Counting of votes begins for assembly elections in Bihar. Counting also underway for by-polls to 58 assembly seats in 11 states. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address virtual SCO summit chaired by Russian President today. NGT bans sale and use of firecrackers in National Capital Region till the 30th of this month. US President Donald Trump sacks Defense Secretary Mark Esper. And in cricket, Delhi Capitals to take on Mumbai Indians in IPL Summit clash in Dubai this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you program Employment News in association with the Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. An effective platform for information on job vacancies, training programs, admission notices, results and career advice with experts. Every day at 4:20 p.m. on FM Gold and other frequencies and on our YouTube channel AIR News Official.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the news. The National Green Tribunal NGT has imposed a total ban on the sale and use of firecrackers in the Delhi NCR region till the 30th of this month. A bench headed by the tribunal's chairperson Adarsh Kumar Goyal said that the ban will be applicable in cities and towns where the air quality is in poor category. The NGT, however, allowed the sale of green crackers in cities and towns where air quality is moderate or below, but said bursting of crackers will be restricted to 2 hours during festivals like Diwali, Chhath, Christmas and New Year's Eve. Currently, the state governments have their own set of guidelines with regard to permitting or banning the sale and use of firecrackers during the festive season. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged people of the country to celebrate Diwali this year with local products. He gave the slogan Local for Diwali and said it is the commitment and responsibility of the people to celebrate Diwali with all locally produced items. The Prime Minister was speaking after virtually inaugurating and laying the foundation stone of 30 development projects worth over 614 crore rupees in his parliamentary constituency Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh yesterday.
आजकल आप देख रहे हैं लोकल के लिए वोकल, वोकल फॉर लोकल, इसके साथ ही लोकल फॉर दिवाली, इसके मंत्र को, इसकी गूंज चारों तरफ अब सुनाई देने लगी है. मेरा बनारस के लोगों से भी और देशवासियों से भी मेरा कहना है लोकल फॉर दिवाली को खूब प्रमोट करें, खूब प्रचार करें. हर एक व्यक्ति जब गर्व के साथ लोकल सामान खरीदेगा, लोकल की चर्चा करेगा, लोकल प्रोडक्ट का गौरव करेगा, नए नए लोगों तक ये बात पहुंचाएगा कि हमारे लोकल प्रोडक्ट कितने अच्छे हैं, कितने शानदार है, किस तरह हमारी पहचान है, तो ये बातें दूर दूर तक जाएगी.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan reviewed the COVID situation and public health measures with the health ministers and senior state officials of 9 states, restating his concern that the coming winter and festive season pose a significant risk that could threaten the gains made collectively till now against COVID-19. Dr. Vardhan said people are required to be more vigilant for the entire festive season.
मास्क का ठीक प्रकार से इस्तेमाल करना है सबको. 2 गज की दूरी हर समय बनाकर रखनी है. हाथ को साबुन से, पानी से सैनिटाइज करके रखना है. धोते रहना है. अपने रेस्पिरेटरी एटिकेट्स का ख्याल करना है. ये फेस्टिवल्स का समय है. कड़क सर्दी पड़ती है, वो वाले महीने भी आने वाले हैं और रेस्पिरेटरी वायरस है. रेस्पिरेटरी वायरस के ज्यादा विंटर्स में फैलने की संभावना होती है.
The Health Ministry has said that demonstrating a landmark achievement, India's active cases have fallen below 6% of the total cases. In a tweet this morning, the ministry said the recovered cases have leaped past 92% of the cumulative cases. It said calibrated and effective strategy of the centre focused on high levels of testing for early identification combined with timely tracing, isolation and hospitalization for severe cases have resulted in a manageable number of active cases and continuously rising number of recoveries.
A total of 5,023 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 4,43,000. The Delhi government said over 3,96,000 people affected by coronavirus have been cured so far. Maharashtra's COVID-19 tally increased by 3,277 yesterday to reach 17,23,135. The number of containment zones in Mumbai is also declining rapidly. More from our correspondent.
The Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai has reported a decrease of 1,241 containment zones in the city and suburbs. In the first week of this month alone, the number of sealed buildings dropped to 1,159 and the number of containment zones in slums to 82. Mumbai's Civic Chief Iqbal Singh Chahal had said that it is important to ensure that COVID-19's graph continues to remain on the downward side. He has urged people to strictly follow COVID-19 protocol to avoid a second wave of the infection. He has also appealed citizens to celebrate Diwali in a simple manner to ensure that there is no further spread of infection. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Odisha, COVID-19 recovery has further gone up to 2,89,689. A total of 1,521 patients recovered yesterday as against 1,219 fresh cases. A report.
COVID-19 recovery trend in Odisha continues to move upward with Delhi recovery outnumbering Delhi discovery of cases. Though all the 30 districts of the state have reported new cases during the last 24 hours, yet as many as 23 of them have come out with cases fewer than 50. Even Khordha, the hitherto hotspot district, has reported fewer than 100 cases for the first time in many days. The total active caseload too has slumped down to a little over 13,000. Increased awareness of and adherence to COVID-appropriate behavior, coupled with multiple governmental interventions, had made the virus revive itself. Though the government has cautioned people of a viral research in winter, should there be any complacency in combating the virus. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Tamil Nadu, the new COVID-19 infections were 2,257 against recovery of 2,308 patients yesterday. The active caseload has dropped to 18,825. Meanwhile, the State Medical Education Directorate is planning to release the rank list of applicants for admission to MBBS and BDS courses next Monday. More from our correspondent.
More than 32,000 students have registered their applications for undergraduate medical counseling so far, and online applications are being accepted till the 12th. The rank list is scheduled to be released on the 16th, which will be followed by counseling and allotment of seats. Meanwhile, the state government has issued orders for providing 50% reservation for NEET qualified government doctors in postgraduate medical admission, including in PG super specialty courses within the state quota of the PG seats. The doctors getting admission under the in-service quota after completing the courses will have to execute a bond assuring to serve the government hospitals till their retirement. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Talking to AIR, Dr. Neeraj Nishchal, Assistant Professor at the Department of Medicine, AIIMS, New Delhi, informed about test facilities to diagnose the coronavirus infection. He urged people to come forward to get the COVID-19 tests done without any hesitation.
जो टेस्ट कराने के जो सेंटर्स और जो फैसिलिटीज हैं वो काफी अब हद तक बिल्कुल सभी के वश में है, मतलब कि किसी को भी अगर टेस्ट कराने की जरूरत होती है तो वो आसानी से करा सकते हैं। आप टेस्ट कराने का एडवांटेज ये होगा, एक तो ये कि आपको पता चल जाएगा कि आप इन्फेक्टेड है, तो आप सावधानी लेंगे ताकि आप अपने क्लोज वंस को इन्फेक्शन न दें। और खुदा न खास्ता कल अगर आपकी हालत बिगड़ती है तो एटलीस्ट आपको पता हो कि आप कोविड के मरीज है और आपको कोविड सेंटर में इलाज के लिए जाना है, तो इससे आपकी जान भी बच सकती है, प्लस आप आसपास इन्फेक्शन नहीं फैलाएंगे।
The Alibag Sessions Court has issued notice to Raigad police seeking their response on the bail application filed by senior journalist and editor-in-chief of Republic TV, Arnab Goswami. The application was filed after the Bombay High Court refused to grant interim relief and asked Goswami to seek regular bail. The Alibag Court is likely to hear the petition today along with the revised petition filed by Raigad police seeking Goswami's custody.
The Narcotics Control Bureau, NCB, has summoned film actor Arjun Rampal for investigation into the drugs-related case. He will have to appear before the agency tomorrow. The summons was served post a raid on Rampal's home in Mumbai yesterday, wherein the agency seized several electronic gadgets belonging to the actor. US President Donald Trump has sacked Defense Secretary Mark Esper. Announcing this on Twitter, Mr. Trump said Director of National Counter-Terrorism Center, Christopher Miller, will assume the charges of the acting Defense Secretary immediately. In his tweet, the President said, Christopher Miller will do a great job. Thanking Mark Esper for his service, Trump said he has been terminated.
A spokesman of Myanmar's ruling party, the National League for Democracy (NLD), has expressed confidence that the party can retain its majority in parliament after Sunday's election. The Election Commission has not released preliminary results, saying that vote counting will require time. Nepal President Vidya Devi Bhandari has released a special anthology on Mahatma Gandhi, My Understanding About Gandhi, during a ceremony at Kathmandu yesterday in the presence of Indian Ambassador Vinay Mohan Quatra. The book has been brought out by the Embassy of India along with the BP Koirala India-Nepal Foundation to cherish the values of the Mahatma's universal teachings with Nepali friends. The Indian Embassy in a statement said that the publication hopes to bring the youth of Nepal closer to Mahatma Gandhi, whose life and ideals remain timeless, universal and relevant for today's world.
In IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals will face defending champions Mumbai Indians in the summit clash at Dubai this evening. The match will begin at 7:30 p.m. Delhi entered their first ever final with a convincing 17-run victory over Sunrisers Hyderabad in the second qualifier in Abu Dhabi. In women's cricket, Trailblazers have clinched the T20 Challenge title in Sharjah last night, defeating Supernovas by 16 runs. Batting first, Trailblazers scored 118 for 8 in stipulated 20 overs. Chasing the target, Supernovas just managed to make 102 for 7 in 20 overs. The Supernovas had won both the earlier editions of the Women's T20 Challenge.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital will have haze in the morning. The minimum temperature was 13 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 27 degrees. In Mumbai, sky will be mainly clear. Minimum temperature in the metropolis was 21 degrees. Maximum will be around 36. Chennai will have a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 23 and 31 degrees. Kolkata is expected to have a clear sky with temperature varying between 20 and 31 degrees. Onto the north, in Srinagar, there will be mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was -1 degree Celsius, while maximum will be around 20 degrees. In Jammu, minimum temperature was 12 degrees. Maximum will be around 28 with clear sky. In Leh, sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards evening. Minimum temperature was -10 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 10 degrees. Gilgit will also see a clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon with temperature hovering between -1 and 23 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening, and the temperature will hover between 10 and 30 degrees. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 12 and 27 degrees. City will have a mainly clear sky. Chandigarh too will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards evening or night with temperature oscillating between 11 and 29 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. City sees worst air day of year. NGT bans firecrackers in NCR is the lead in the Times of India. 10 ways to detoxify Delhi NCR, headlines The Pioneer, noting that the newly formed Commission for Air Quality Management issues SOPs as blanket of smog over the region thickens. Bursting firecrackers to invite 6-year jail, 1 lakh rupee fine. The paper also cites the Delhi government. COVID-19 vaccine could be 90% effective, claims Pfizer, leads The Hindu. The Indian Express writes, Pfizer claims first big breakthrough, test vaccine 90% effective in phase 3. D-Day for Bihar, countdown begins, states The Pioneer. Modi Xi to come face-to-face virtually at SCO summit today, observes The Statesman. And finally, fireworks on D Street. Indices scale new peak, reports the Business Standard. The Times of India notes Sensex at new peak as Biden victory spurs foreign buying.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Counting of votes begins for assembly elections in Bihar. Counting also underway for by-polls to 58 assembly seats in 11 states. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address virtual SCO summit chaired by Russian President today. NGT bans sale and use of firecrackers in National Capital Region till the 30th of this month. US President Donald Trump sacks Defense Secretary Mark Esper. And in cricket, Delhi Capitals to take on Mumbai Indians in IPL Summit clash in Dubai this evening. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.